Travis Scott Lil Flame, the king of auto-tune. Straight up, it's lit. Listen, July 28th, finally, we're getting the long-awaited Utopia. And on Utopia, as we know, we've heard from multiple sources, including Travis Scott himself, Utopia will be a double album where one half is Dystopia and the other half is Utopia, and both albums are gonna sound completely different to each other. Because if you look at back in 2021, it was Travis Scott released Mafia and Escape Plan, and Travis Scott teased that Mafia and Escape Plan was sort of like a separate project from Utopia. Those two songs, Mafia and Escape Plan, were for a different project from Utopia. If you look at the cover of it, it said like Dystopia for the cover of Mafia and Escape Plan. It was like a Dystopia cover. And basically, those two songs were meant to be on Dystopia, which was rumored to drop before Utopia. But I think Travis Scott is doing a thing now where he's not doing that anymore, where he's dropping a double album where Dystopia is going to be on Utopia. But before, he was going to drop Dystopia as like a project before Utopia. Just like how we did it was going to be like a thing where it's like days before Rodeo, then you got Rodeo, and it would have been like days before Utopia, which is Dystopia, then Utopia. But now he's combining them in one album, where I think Dystopia, if you look at the sound it's going to be, Dystopia is going to be a very dark and grim album where it goes into I don't know exactly what Travis Scott is gonna do. Maybe it'll be about his personal struggles with darkness, or his struggles he's had with life, or about the world itself in general, the dark side of the world. Because if you think of Dystopia, it's a dark place. It's like a very grim, just darkness. That's what you think of it. And I think with Dystopia, Travis is going for a dark sound. If you look at like dark Travis, days before Rodeo, remember, that's the dark Travis we got, that type of sound. That's what we're getting. Because if you look at Mafia, that's clearly a song for Dystopia, and Lost Forever is a song for Utopia. There's a difference here. Utopia is going to be a very atmospheric, euphoric, uplifting sound. That's why there's a differential between Mafia and Lost Forever, which is a track we know that's gonna be on Utopia. Travis has previewed this song many times before, and he's performed it so many times before, so we know that's gonna be on Utopia. Lost Forever with Westside Gunn and James Blake, we know that's confirmed to be on Utopia. But Mafia, if you compare Mafia and Lost Forever, you compare those sounds, they sound completely different from one another. They sound completely different. There's going to be a differential because Travis Scott has said it himself many times. To get to Utopia, you have to go through Dystopia first, which is why I think Dystopia will be the first half of the album. Then the second half of the album is Utopia. He's doing a thing where you can't have Utopia without Dystopia. That's the type of thing he's going with. And we can see that he's gonna use two different sounds. For one half, it's gonna be dark Travis. He's gonna have very grim beats. Like, if you think of very grim beats, you think like Mafia, for example. That's a dark song. It's gonna be very dark, has grim, a lot of 808s. I think there will be like dark synths. They will be involved in very heavy synths on it, because I think he's gonna create Travis Scott's really good at creating a mood with his music, and I think the way he does it is through his auto-tune. He's gonna manipulate his auto-tune, where the auto-tune is gonna be very low-pitched for Dystopia. He's gonna have a very low pitch for Dystopia, and he'll create this, and he'll have a very sinister type of beat. Look at Mafia, for example. That's a very sinister type of beat. So he's going to do that for Dystopia. Then, if you look at Utopia, Lost Forever is a very uplifting, graceful track. That's a very uplifting, upbeat track. It gets you into the happy mood. So we're going to get Dark Travis and light Travis, when he lifts you up in a mood. So this is gonna be a very, very special album. There's gonna be so many different sounds Travis Scott's gonna be experimenting with. He's gonna be experimenting with the dark side of himself, the happy side, the good, the bad, the uplifting side. Listen, we're gonna see all types of Travis on this. And there might be like a storyline to it as well. There's clearly he's trying to go with a storyline where there's two sides to the universe. There's two sides to a person. There's two sides to everything. Where there's dark and light. That's what he's going for on this album. So the difference between Utopia and Dystopia is, on Dystopia, it's a very dark, grim light. It's a very dark and grim, sinister vibe that he's going for. Utopia, very uplifting. Of course, Utopia is supposed to be like this fantasy place where you just enjoy life, when you're on a different type of you vibe. Basically, you're on a very uplifting, happy vibe. That's Utopia. Dystopia is supposed to be the dark side of Utopia. So two halves, oh my goodness. The real question is, which will be better, Dystopia or Utopia? Which is going to be the better album? That's very interesting. We're just going to have to wait and see. But in terms of sounds Travis Scott's experimenting with, Utopia side's definitely looking like the more experimental side. Definitely, because we've heard Dark Travis before. We've heard it, like Days Before Roger. That's literally Dark Travis. He knows how to do that sound for Dystopia. But Utopia, that uplifting sound, we haven't really heard that sound from him. So he's going to be experimenting more on the Utopia side. So I think Utopia, for me personally, I think will be a better album. But for other people, Dystopia might be a better album. We'll just wait and see. Travis Scott, the flame is back.